All right, I've got a Subaru here, and I am going to be changing the air filter. It is time to do so. Now, depending on what type of air filter you have, you might have to change it never. Some of them are guaranteed to be lifetime if it's a non-disposable one, or every 10 to 12 or 14,000 miles or something like that, depending on the type and the quality that you buy. In my case, I don't like to break the bank and spend, $60 or so for an air filter, especially if I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep the car. So I opt for the disposable ones, and then I don't have to clean it. I can just switch them out. So this is how I am doing it. You'll want to read the manual, your owner's manual, on where the air filter is and whatnot, because my Subaru here, it might be different from yours. But anyway, we've got this little housing to get through, and you could see I removed the intake. There's a little piece of plastic that I took off of there a little earlier, and then you can kind of take that housing and kind of separate it, and then that air filter should pull up. Now take note of the orientation while you're doing that, so you know how the new one will go back in. You can certainly figure it out, but if you can assume it's right coming out, then you might save yourself a little bit of trouble figuring out the correct orientation, putting it back in. So you got the new one out, and you can see the old one was spent, pretty dirty, pretty gross, and so definitely makes sense to switch that out. Make sure the orientation is the same and correct. And obviously I've got one hand here, so let me put the camera down, and then it's maybe a bit awkward, but you kind of pinch that housing back, just kind of angle it down there a little bit, taking care not to damage the filter at all. And there's extra parts you could probably take off to make this a little smoother. Again, your vehicle may be designed a little differently, so it may be easier. And we'll just kind of pop it in like that. Make sure it is seated firmly the way it should be. I'm fast forwarding it here for you just a little bit, so you get the idea. Your time is valuable, right? So welcome to the channel. Do-it-yourself projects that are practical. There's no limit. Anything around the house, the car, anything to make your life a little easier is fair game. So we'll go ahead and pinch that, and they've got these little metal clips to secure that housing back in. And there we go. We'll take a look first to make sure everything's seated well. Looks good. I like that. And before you put this back on, you could take your shop vac and just kind of vacuum things out. You may see some debris in there as you've removed that old filter, so that would be a little tip, but mine looks pretty good. So we'll put this little housing piece back. And I don't even have clips. This is kind of an older vehicle, so I don't even have clips for that, but it does secure nonetheless. Kind of pops in like that. And those screw holes should be oriented, there we go, correctly more or less, and I'm happy with that. We'll call that good. Now soon in another video I'm going to be making how to switch out the battery here. This battery's about 7 years old. It's still okay. I mean it's reading okay, but I'm going to be on the lookout for that and check the oil while I'm at it. Should be looks okay there. And just kind of do a visual, make sure my coolant is all right. Always a good idea to check, and then you can dispose of that old filter. And we'll stop that video there. Click that like button if this has helped you out, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks.